Hello everyone and welcome back to Coach Craig's Sports. Today is Thursday, so we're going to be taking a look at the Thursday night DFS single game showdown slate between the Atlanta Falcons and the New England Patriots. So this is a game that's not like super exciting over the top. It's going to be a game where a lot of players are in play overall in this slate. I'll be going through my personal player pool, my core captain picks, and then I'll show you guys a lineup that I have built on Draftkings and Fanduel, and then build one by hand ourselves during this video as well. But without further ado, we're going to get into my player pool and core captain picks. So on the DraftKings side, we got Matt Ryan, $10,800. Him and Mac Jones are about the same price tag here. Mac Jones is about $200 cheaper at $10,600. I would prefer Mac Jones, but you can definitely play both these guys on tonight's slate. Kyle Pitts is $9,600. I think he's definitely in play, but I would temper my expectations for him because the Patriots do have a tendency to take away the team's primary option, which is probably going to be Kyle Pitts if Cordero Patterson does not end up playing in this game tonight. And even if Cordero Patterson does end up playing in this game tonight, it might be in a more limited role where Kyle Pitts would be the primary focus most of the time once again. Then we move down to the two New England Patriots running backs. We got Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevenson. They're both in play for me. This one's probably going to come down to ownership, but if I have to choose at this point in time, I'm probably going to go Damian Harris for $200 more. Jacoby Myers, one of my favorite plays on this entire slate on the DraftKings side, $8,000. Definitely a fair price tag for him. It's going to be a good matchup for him. He's probably going to get a funnel of receptions once again today. If he gets a second touchdown, which he got his first one last week, then it's probably going to look even better for him. Hunter Henry at $7,000. Definitely a pretty solid price tag there overall. Mike Davis I do have listed here. He's $5,800. Wayne Gallman I do love, but $8,400 on the DraftKings side. We don't know if the workload's sustainable or not. He's in play, but not somebody I'm going out of my way for. Mike Davis is probably going to be somebody I get to more often than Wayne Gallman on tonight's slate. But once again, that's probably going to come down to a little bit of ownership as well, kind of like the Patriots running backs. Olamide Zaccheaus is $5,400. I think he's definitely in play. Russell Gage is $6,600, I do believe. A little bit too pricey for me, especially for a guy that has 3 goose eggs on the season already. So I don't really trust any of these Falcons wide receivers at this point in time. So a lot of it's just going to come down to the pricing and where it fits in the budget overall. Nelson Aguilar for $5,000. Definitely think he's in play. We'll just have to see what ends up happening for him. You can talk about Kendrick Bourne as well, but he's a little bit too pricey for me. I believe he's more than Nelson Aguilar on this slate overall. Brandon Bolden, if he ends up playing at $4,800, he's a filler piece. If he doesn't end up playing, obviously you should not play him. Pretty simple there. Both kickers are in play with Nick Folk at $4,400. Younghoe Koo at $4,000 on the dot. So a little bit priced up there, but they could definitely put up some points tonight and probably a little bit safer options than some of these other plays out there tonight. Tajay Sharp at $3,600 is a play that I do not mind if you're looking in that price range. Kicker might be able to get you more points, but Tajay Sharp's going to give you just a little bit more upside. Jonnu Smith, if he ends up playing at $2,400, definitely in play, but we'll have to see if he ends up playing or not tonight. N'Keal Harry for $600. He's not super exciting, but at least he gets on the field, so he's out there at least. Maybe something lucky goes his way. There's not a lot of cheap value options on the slate tonight overall. Lee Smith is going to be the tight end number 2 for the Falcons today. Since Hayden Hurst has already been ruled out for this game, $200. Maybe you get lucky with the touchdown, a couple catches there. Definitely could do a lot worse for $200 threshold. And then we got Christian Blake there, more of a returner than a wide receiver, but he gets on the field sometimes. If he takes a kick return or a punt return back for a touchdown, that could help you out. If he gets a couple catches, could help you out as well, but not somebody I'm super excited about. There's just not a lot of value towards the bottom end on tonight's slate. For my core captain picks, Jacoby Myers is probably going to be my favorite, to be honest, on this slate. I do like Hunter Henry as well. Damian Harris is one, but it's probably going to depend on ownership. I don't have a problem putting Mac Jones in that captain spot as well. And then Mike Davis is the last one because I think people are a little bit down on him, myself personally too. But on tonight's slate, the price tag that he has, you could definitely do a lot worse in that spot. Then on the FanDuel side, we got Matt Ryan, $15,500. Mac Jones is $500 cheaper. If it comes down to the two, I prefer Mac Jones, but Matt Ryan's in play as well. Both of them, looking to score at least 12 points or more. I guess Matt Ryan could do worse because he's really up or down. If he plays a good team, he's not as good. If he plays a bad team, he's awesome again. So it's just kind of been a real up and down season for Matt Ryan, which I kind of expected. But, that is what it is at this point in time. So then we have the two Patriots running backs again. And I believe that's a typo there. I believe Damon Harris is $13,500 and Ramondre Stevenson is $13,000. I believe there's a $500 difference. But once again, it's probably going to come down to ownership. if you lean one direction or the other, just play that player. Not too big a difference there overall, that $500. At the end of the day, it's probably not going to be too big of a difference in your budget overall. Then we get down to Kyle Pitts, $12,000. Everything on the DraftKings side still applies. He's going to be that primary weapon for the Atlanta Falcons, but the Patriots like to take that weapon away more times than not. Hunter Henry at $11,000 definitely in play. Jacoby Myers, $10,500, so he's actually cheaper than Hunter Henry on the Fanduel side, which makes some sense just because Hunter Henry is more that touchdown threat. Jacoby Myers more that like PPR type of threat. Kendrick Bourne, he was not really in play on the DraftKings side. His price is a little bit higher over there. But for $9,500, you could definitely play him on FanDuel. Definitely could do a lot worse. Both kickers in play once again at $9,000 and $8,500 respectively. Then we get down to some cheaper options. And FanDuel's not as bad on cheap options. So cheaper options for me on FanDuel at least is $7,500 or below. You got Mike Davis here at $7,500. You got Nelson Aguilar. Both of them could be in play. Olamide Zaccheaus for $7,000. Probably a guy that I'm going to get to a lot tonight. We'll have to check up on ownership on him later on in the day because that could be a very popular play. Johnny Smith, if he ends up playing, $7,000. Wayne Gallman at $6,500. So he's actually cheaper than Mike Davis on the FanDuel side. Maybe you get to him a little bit more on the FanDuel side. Maybe Mike Davis a little bit more on the DraftKings side. We'll just have to see how it plays out. If you're playing across both sides, I don't mind that because we don't really know exactly how this game is going to shake out. There's a lot of pieces in play, and it really could just be any player on any given play tonight, honestly. So getting a lot of exposure to a lot of different guys. Not the worst thing in the world, honestly, for tonight's slate. Maybe this is a slate you play a little bit lighter. Maybe it's a single entry slate. You only want to play one line. Maybe you would just want to avoid tonight's slate altogether, but hey, there's a lot of different ways you can approach it. Then last but not least, we got Tajay Sharp at $6,500. Definitely in play once again out there, seeing a good majority of snaps, I believe. Number 2 on the team in snaps last few weeks. And then last but not least, we got Lee Smith once again at $5,500. Just hoping he gets lucky, gets a couple catches, or falls into the end zone. Then as far as the core captain picks go on the FanDuel side, I'm going with Mac Jones probably as my favorite. Damian Harris, Hunter Henry, probably up there as well. And then Jacoby Myers after that. You could maybe throw an Atlanta player up there, maybe Matt Ryan, but I'm not too keen on Atlanta tonight, if I'm just being honest. But with that being said, we'll get moved over to DraftKings. I'll show you the lineup that I have built, and then we'll build one together real quick. So the one that I have built right now is Jacoby Myers in the captain spot. Kind of talked about this a little bit already, but it is a play that I do like quite a bit. He does play a lot of his snaps in the slot, which is a favorable matchup for him because on the Atlanta Falcons, he's going against a rookie in Avery Williams or like a safety down in the slot a lot of the time. So definitely could be a good game overall for Jacoby Myers. Then we have Mac Jones. I think he's definitely worth playing today. You can squeeze both quarterbacks in here tonight pretty easily if you really want to. Damian Harris, I do like at $8,800, but once again, that one's going to come down to ownership, whether it's him or Ramondre Stevenson. But as of right now, I am leaning Damian Harris. Hunter Henry, I think, is definitely in play as well. And then I got 2 Atlanta Falcons in there for my 4 and 2 stack. So I got Mike Davis, $5,800, who I do like at the price tag. And then Olamide Zaccheaus at $5,400. As you see, that leaves about $400 remaining, so nothing crazy there, but definitely a solid lineup overall. This is probably one that I'm going to end up using myself tonight. But we're going to clear this one out real quick, and we're going to build another different captain lineup. So I'm just going to build this one a little bit different because I'm going to try to build it from the Atlanta perspective. So we're going to say that Atlanta actually comes out and does pretty well. So we're going to put Mike Davis in that captain spot. In this line, I want to play both quarterbacks. I want to play Matt Ryan, and I want to play Mac Jones. And then from there, I want to get a primary weapon for both quarterbacks if I can do so. So on the Atlanta Falcons, I'm looking at, we're going to say Kyle Pitts has that nice game in this situation. So we're going to play Kyle Pitts. For the Patriots, I want to look at like a Jacoby Myers or a Hunter Henry. We're going to put Jacoby Myers in first, see how much salary we have left over there and what our options are. So if we do Jacoby Myers, we have $2,300 left over. So we're just short of Johnny Smith if he was somebody that we're looking at. So we're really down in that kind of dark range that we don't really want to be into. So I'm going to take him out. We're going to put Hunter Henry in and then see what happens from there. So if we put Hunter Henry in, then we have $3,300, which kind of leaves us with that Johnny Smith range. That's probably not the best situation overall either. So I am going to look at playing this a little bit differently. We'll play Nelson Aguilar here. Then we'll have $5,300 remaining. So in this case, let's just say we put Tajay Sharp here. So we'll have $1,700 remaining. You could definitely mix and match a little bit in this lineup too if you want to. But in this case, we have Mike Davis in that captain spot. We got Matt Ryan. with 2 receiving options in Kyle Pitts and Tajay Sharp. And then we got Mac Jones with Nelson Aguilar. So if you want to move this around a little bit, you can definitely do that as well. Maybe you move Tajay Sharp up to that captain spot, Mike Davis down, and then you pay up from Nelson Aguilar. And I think you can pay up to Hunter Henry, maybe even up to Jacoby Myers as well. So that's definitely a possibility as well. A lot of different ways to get creative on this slate. And like I said, especially when you look at these teams, we don't know which running back's going to stand out tonight for both teams. We don't know which wide receiver is really going to stand out tonight for both teams. Is Kyle Pitts going to go off? Is Hunter Henry going to score a touchdown? How is Matt Ryan going to play overall tonight? There's a lot of questions, a lot of variables on tonight's slate. So definitely go in, be creative, just see what works best for you tonight. And that's all I can really recommend at this point in time. But with that being said, we'll move over to Fanduel. I'll show you guys the lineup that I have built already, and then we'll build one together as well. So the one that I have built already, I'm playing both quarterbacks here. So I got Mac Jones in the MVP spot, Matt Ryan in a flex spot, along with Kyle Pitts and Olamide Zaccheaus, and then Jacoby Myers filling that out as well. So in this one, I do use all my salary. You get to play both quarterbacks. There is no running backs in this one. So a little bit interesting there as well, but definitely one that I would consider playing myself. If you are playing this one, since you have the 2 Atlanta Falcons wide receivers, maybe you move Matt Ryan up to the captain spot, or maybe you just put 2 lineups in, one with Mac Jones in the captain spot or the MVP spot, and then one with Matt Ryan in that MVP spot. So definitely a lot of different ways you can do it. And if you're playing in some of these smaller contests, whether it's a nickel or a quarter one, I definitely would recommend switching those 2 both around in the MVP spot. Heck, you could probably even take the same lineup and switch all 5 guys in and out of that MVP spot. If you're only doing it in like a nickel lineup, it's only costing you a quarter. So it's not like it's not like you're putting $5 in or anything crazy like that, or like $500. But with that being said, we'll clear this one out real quick. We'll build a lineup and then kind of go from there. So I'm going to get a little bit different on this one. So I think we're going to put Hunter Henry in the MVP spot just to be a little bit different, because we don't have the quarterbacks. But if we're going to play him there, we're going to play Mac Jones as well. And I think we're going to play one of the Patriots running backs, whether it's Damian Harris or Ramondre Stevenson. So in this case, I'm going to go with Damian Harris. So we got $20,500 remaining, just over $10,000 per player. So I am looking at this point, I want to play maybe a Jacoby Myers. That would give us $10,000 remaining. You could do a Russell Gage with that as well, but Russell Gage, we kind of talked about being that goose egg guy, but maybe he has that conception like in everybody else's mind that says, hey, this guy's not really that good because he kind of goose eggs you and all that stuff too. But if everybody's thinking that and the ownership's suppressed, then maybe he's a little bit better play than kind of think lean out, but we'll just have to see what the ownership looks like tonight. I want to look at the running backs for the Atlanta Falcons. So I'm going to put Wayne Gallman in this one. So we got Wayne Gallman. If we play Wayne Gallman, we got $14,000. So we can pretty much put anybody in at that point in time. Cordell Patterson's there, but I don't think he's going to end up playing. You could do your Kyle Pitts here if you want to do so. We could do Kyle Pitts and still have $2,000 left on the table. That's definitely a lineup that you can do. You can make Wayne Gallman and Mike Davis in this case if you really want to. You definitely could play around there with that just a little bit more. But hey, like I already mentioned on the Draftkings side, there's a lot of different ways this game could go overall and a lot of different ways to play this slate. So get in there, get creative, see what works best for you. And like I've mentioned in the past, every single game slate is a story. So you want to make sure that whatever story you're trying to tell, your players fit that narrative. So just go in, whether you're using an optimizer, whether you're hand building, and just try to build that story the best way that you can. But with that being said, that's a quick little look into the single game showdown slate for tonight's Thursday night football matchup between the New England Patriots and the Atlanta Falcons. If you guys have any questions, if you have a question about projected ownership or anything like that, feel free to leave them down in the comments below and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. But with that being said, if you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing. Definitely would appreciate it. It helps to build the community that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig Sports, which is one that's truly for you, the viewers, helping you with your DFS, whether it's NFL or NBA, helping you with your fantasy football teams. And then with that being said, if you are a new or current subscriber who's yet to do so, also hit that notification bell down below. It's going to let you know every single time I post up a new video. Tomorrow is Friday, so that will be the Dollar Store Stack series. So that's the video where I go over some NFL DFS main slate, talking about cheap quarterbacks that we compare with some of their wide receiver, running back, or tight end options to build a value stack and allow you to pay up for premium players elsewhere. But that's a great video. Definitely be sure to check that one out as well. I assume if you're watching this video, you're already into DFS and you're probably playing the main slate as well. So definitely would recommend that one. But with that being said, that's all I have for today's video. Hopefully you all enjoyed. And then last but not least, special little shout out to each and every one of you watching today's video. I truly do appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this video. Definitely means a lot to me, and I hope each and every one of you has a great rest of your day.